the 2024 race will hinge on whether Trump can slow Harris's rise. This week, Donald Trump's campaign will try to gain ground after the vice president turned an election of shocking results. The ex-president has used his most trusted political tools: racism, otherworlds, insults, and gaslighting. He circulated another phony conspiracy theory about Harris's Michigan rally crowd last week on Sunday. But his efforts to knock down his new opponent and her habit of ignoring his provocations have so far exposed his shortcomings rather than hers and highlighted Harris's potential as a fresh voter choice. The ex-president may have pleased his base voters by calling Harris dumb during a Montana rally Friday night or erroneously claiming she happened to turn black last month. However, those comments risk alienating women and swing state voters and undermining his months-long advances among minorities. Trump's team denied a New York Times claim that he called Harris a B*TCH while lamenting her momentum on Saturday. Trump's sloppy press conference last week and a weekend of fuming hint that he is still grappling with the shift in a campaign that seemed to be going his way 3 weeks ago when exuberant Republicans left their convention forecasting a landslide. Harris and her campaign companion, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, went on a swing state tour that left Democrats ecstatic for the first time in years. Trump was furious that his debate win over President Joe Biden only started a new, more dangerous fight. Harris has given voters hope after a dark era in modern history by saying they don't want to go back to Trump's chaos and acrimony in 3 weeks. Her strategy is temporarily bringing the race back to a tie. Poll averages show her reversing Biden's losses. A Saturday New York Times/Siena College survey found no clear leader in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, a closer contest than when Biden led the ticket. The poll does not affect November. However, it captured the campaign's rapid shift, prompting the Trump team to write a document saying the surveys had the evident goal and purpose of reducing support for the previous president. Harris's campaign faces an unanticipated issue after the new Democratic ticket repelled Trump's opening attacks and used them to expose extremism. Harris's takeover of the Democratic torch and Biden's retirement 3 weeks ago have propelled her party to a point that seemed unattainable a week before its Chicago National Convention. Trump now faces an energized party, reversing his advantage when Biden ran. Freshness and hope are again political forces. Harris may gain from a reduced run-up to November, but there are still roughly 3 months to go. Trump remains a powerful and fierce opponent. Having united his party behind him, especially after last month's assassination attempt, he should still benefit from structural factors like voters' economic pessimism, which would ordinarily influence the election. His campaign said the former president would speak on Wednesday in North Carolina on how hardworking Americans are suffering because of the Harris-Biden administration's dangerously leftist policies and excruciatingly high pricing. If he follows that script, his appearance in a state Democrats want to revive would test if an emphasis on core concerns will dampen Harris's initial enthusiasm. Trump also plans to interview Elon Musk on his X platform on Monday night. The vice president is under fire from Trump for avoiding unscripted moments in news conferences and interviews. She will also face challenges about when to detail her domestic and foreign policy as president. Harris told reporters Saturday that she would start laying out an economic policy framework this week. As a one-day stock market drop last week illustrated, she is vulnerable to economic news that could sway insecure Americans. After last week's Walz tour de force, the vice president appears to be entering a new phase of her campaign. "We know the stakes are tremendous. We can take nothing for granted at this moment," she declared at a San Francisco fundraiser Sunday. "It's been a good couple weeks, but we're still working." Trump is still struggling with his new rival. Senator J.D. Vance, Trump's vice presidential nominee, appeared on Sunday talk shows to counter Harris's wave. The Ohio Republican called the vice president and Walz extreme liberals, advocated severe border policies, and accused Harris of involvement in Biden administration policies that raised costs. He repeated the GOP claim that Walz retired after nearly 25 years in the Army National Guard to escape Iraq deployment without evidence. Walz filed for Congress in February 2005, before his unit was told it could deploy to Iraq. According to CNN, Vance told CNN's Dana Bash on State of the Union that his team was running against an undefined opponent who was even more responsible for the last 4 years' actions than Biden. What's unusual is that we're competing against a person many Americans don't know, Vance added. We should remind people that President Trump brought reduced prices, lower inflation, a prosperous and peaceful globe, and a secure border, whereas Kamala Harris's ideas have achieved the reverse. That was simpler to argue when Joe Biden was there because people link him with policies. However, he had to answer for the ex-president's self-defeating remarks. On State of the Union, Vance wiggled to avoid criticizing Trump's claim that Harris, a Jamaican Indian daughter, was not black. I believe Kamala Harris is whatever she says she is, Vance remarked. Importantly, I think President Trump is accurate that she's a chameleon. On CBS Face the Nation, Vance tried to clarify the ex-president's suggestion last week that he would restrict the mail delivery of mifepristone, a widely used abortion medicine. Democratic plans to punish Trump for overturning the nationwide right to abortion by his Supreme Court majority are at play. In 2022, Trump hosted white nationalist and Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes, who recently racially attacked the Ohio senator's wife Usha. On ABC's This Week, Vance had to weigh in. Vance called Fuentes a total loser but praised Trump for his willingness to communicate with everybody.